Views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. A bomb threat at LPIA caused a number of delays Sunday. PAHO says immunization rates in the Bahamas have fallen off in the last decade. And we are talking with the forestry unit about their issues and concerns. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, March 16th, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeAndrew Cartwright will be joining us. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight. The latest breaking news from while we're sleeping and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a bomb threat forcing the evacuation of Lyndon Pindling International Airport. This was yesterday morning. Police say shortly after 7 a.m., officers at the airport police station were notified by Nassau Airport Development Company that they had received a call threatening that a bomb had been placed on the third floor of Terminal B. NAD said that it followed its protocols and procedures and that police and fire services officers managed the evacuation of the terminals to allow for the buildings to be safely screened. Evacuated passengers and employees waited in the parking lot while incoming planes were being held on arrival. NAD said that the all-clear was given around 9:13 a.m., allowing for normal operations to resume. However, it warned that delays were possible as a result of the incident. Bahamas Air, meanwhile, in a message to ticketed passengers warned of potential delays, which indeed happened. An early morning blaze on East Street left a family of 7 homeless, frightened and in need after it destroyed their home and most of their belongings. This happened on Friday. 39-year-old Alexis Brathwaite saying shortly after her husband Charles left for work around 6 a.m. she was alerted to the fire by her disabled brother, who woke her from her sleep and warned that there were flames in the bedroom. Bahamas' country cooperation strategy with the Pan American Health Organization and the World Health Organization, revealing that childhood immunization rates have fallen off substantially in recent years. It said that immunization coverage rates in the Bahamas have been falling in the past decade. It noted that in 2023, the coverage rates for polio third dose and diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus third dose were 87%, and the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella, was 86%. By comparison, the polio coverage rate was over 97% in 2012 and fell to 83% in 2020 and increased slightly since then. Prosecutors are seeking to charge a teenager with perjury after she gave evidence that resulted in the acquittal of a 30-year-old Van Miller on child sex charges. Miller, a Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marine, was accused of having an unlawful sexual relationship with the minor that began in September 2021 and continued until March 9, 2023. After initially identifying Miller in court as the man whom she met on Instagram and began having sex with a short time later, the now 16-year-old returned to the witness stand and gave evidence that undermined the prosecution's case. She claimed that she was pressured to lie about having sex with Miller. The witness said she never had sex with Miller, and at no time had he touched her in a sexual way. Police caught the teen and Miller together on the evening of March 9, 2023. She'd previously said that Miller was dropping her home after they had sex in a church's yard, but he sped off when he saw the mother. The mother followed the car and called the police, who stopped the vehicle near C.I. Gibson High School. A sample from the underwear she wore that night contained semen, a piece of the underwear, but there was insufficient DNA in the sample to do a comparison against a blood sample from Miller. Justice Neil Brathwaite directed the jury of 5 men and 4 women to acquit Miller, as the prosecution's case was based on the testimony of the minor. In light of the witnesses' admitted lies, the prosecution asked the judge to recommend a perjury charge. And a man who took advantage of a vulnerable teenager was sentenced to 18 years imprisonment for unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor of the same sex. 51-year-old Marlon Newton did not show any emotion when Justice Wilhelmina Archer Mins passed sentence. Archer Mins also ordered that Newton receive psychological counseling to assist with his rehabilitation. Newton, a chief community activist, and former DNA candidate for Engliston, was remanded to prison on August 17, 2025 to await sentencing after he was found guilty on 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor of the same sex. Newton's lawyer asked the judge to consider probation, a fine, and restitution for the offense, while the prosecutor sought a sentence of 20 years. The victim testified he first met Newton in March 2019 after his mother and brother kicked him out of the house. You can read more of that story in today's NASA Guardian. And Carwyn Turnquest is the winner of the 29th Annual Bahamas National Spelling Bee. After 13 rounds of competition, Turnquest won by correctly spelling graticule. Overseas, fears of a global energy crisis rose today as the war in the Middle East raged on, with more U.S.-Israeli strikes on the Iranian capital and Israel's bombardment of Lebanon. An Iranian drone strike temporarily shut Dubai's airport, a crucial global travel hub, underscoring the threats to the world economy. Since the United States and Israel attacked Iran more than 2 weeks ago, Tehran has regularly fired on Israel, American bases in the region, and Gulf Arab countries and their energy infrastructure with drones and missiles. It's also effectively stopped shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, through which a fifth of the world's oil is transported, dramatically increasing the price of oil and putting pressure on Washington to do something to ease the pain consumers are feeling. Brent crude, the international standard, remained stubbornly over $100 a barrel today. It was $104 in early trading, up nearly 45% since the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran on February 28th. It has spiked as high as about $120 during the conflict. U.S. President Donald Trump said he has demanded that about 7 countries send warships to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, but his appeals have brought no commitments. Meanwhile, the Iranian foreign minister claiming that his country may be seeking a negotiated end to the war, delusional. That's what he's calling those claims, saying in a social media post early Monday that Iran was seeking neither truce nor talks. Meanwhile, France's government is bolstering the country's military presence in the Middle East, dispatching its aircraft carrier and other warships, while President Emmanuel Macron engages with key players in the conflict, including Iran, in a bid to position Paris for future diplomatic talks. Macron said that France's military involvement is strictly defensive, aims to avoid making the country a party to the war. He reaffirmed that position after one French soldier was killed Thursday in a drone attack in Iraq. And the American flag was raised Saturday over the U.S. Embassy in Venezuela for the first time since 2019, a move that highlighted the recent shift in relations between the two countries since then-President Nicolás Maduro was captured by American troops in January. Though the flag is now waving, the building is undergoing renovations, and it remains unclear when it will fully reopen. The move comes after several statements from U.S. President Donald Trump in support of Maduro's successor, acting President Delcy Rodriguez, who has tried to keep negotiations open with the American government. The flag was raised exactly 7 years after it was taken down, according to a statement released by the U.S. Embassy team on social media. The American flag being raised drew immediate attention from local residents as well. Despite the initiative, large chunks of Venezuelan society and the political establishment remain critics of Trump, his decision to forcefully remove Maduro from office and jail him in New York with his wife, and growing U.S. influence in the South American country's oil industry. And from the world of entertainment, Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another was crowned Best Picture at the 98th Academy Awards, handing Hollywood's top honor to a comic multi-generational American saga of political resistance. The ceremony Sunday, which also saw Michael B. Jordan win Best Actor and cinematographer Autumn Darrell Arkapaw make Oscar history as the first female director of photography to win the award, was a long-in-coming coronation for Anderson, the San Fernando Valley native who made his first short at 18 and has been one of America's most lionized filmmakers for decades. Before Sunday, Anderson had never won an Oscar. One Battle After Another had been the favorite coming in, winning 6 Oscars, including Best Director and Best Adapted Screenplay for Anderson, and the Oscars' first trophy for Best Casting and Best Supporting Actor for absent Sean Penn. Ryan Coogler's Sinners, which came in with a record 16 nominations, also landed some big and even historic wins. Coogler winning his first Oscar for his original screenplay.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, several junior golfers crowned champions of the 2026 Bahamas Junior National Golf Championships, hosted the Ocean Club Golf Course at Atlantis Paradise Island. The event served as a qualifier for the national team at the 2026 Caribbean Amateur Junior Golf Championships, slated for June 28th through July 3rd. Junior golfers in the 15 to 18 age bracket also had an opportunity to play another 18 holes to earn a World Amateur Golf ranking. Georgette Roll Harris, one of the event's organizers, spoke about the competitiveness. You can read her comments in today's Guardian Sports section. A second-place finish and a new national record highlighting the performances by Bahamian athletes at the NCAA Division I Indoor Track and Field Championships. in Arkansas over the weekend after having his national record for less than a month. The last time around, Wanya McCoy reestablishing himself as the top Bahamian in that event Saturday, sprinting to a time of 20.17 seconds for the silver medal at the NCAA Indoors. The University of Florida senior making his last indoor competition in college, making sure that would be a memorable one, clocking a new national record indoors and a new school record, ranking him number 12 all-time in the NCAA. And former world and Olympic champion Stephen Gardner his season in the short sprints of the 20th Carolina Spring Break Camp Classic over the weekend as well. More on that in today's Guardian Sports section. And the 2026 New Providence Volleyball Association Best of 3 playoffs kicking off on Sunday at the D.W. Davis Gym. The top-seeded Technicians taking charge in their series against the 4th-seeded Intruders. They're now leading 1-0 in that series. The Technicians sweeping the Intruders in 3 straight sets, winning 27-25, 28-26, and 25-22. And from the World Baseball Classic, Team USA's celebration after beating the Dominican Republic Sunday night in the World Baseball Classic semifinals, electric and brief. National League Cy Young Award winner Paul Skenes roaring, "Let's go," after the final out. Closer Mason Miller let out a yell and pointed towards the sky. Moments later, the smiles were all gone and the message was clear. They've got much more work to do. The loaded U.S. team, led by Skenes and featuring stars Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge, outdueled the Dominican Republic 2-1 to win its 3rd straight WBC title game. The Americans won in 2017 and fell to Shohei Ohtani in Japan in 2023. They faced the winner of the 2nd semifinal Monday night between Italy and Venezuela in the title game on Tuesday night. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Weather brought to you by Star General. We've got a near gale warning in effect for the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Fresh to strong winds with occasional gusts to near gale force are likely across these areas tonight for the rest of the day tonight and through tonight. Boaters in these areas, especially small craft operators, are urged to remain in port. Also for today, there's a moderate risk of rip currents along beaches across the islands, and very high UV levels are expected across most of the country today. Everyone's being advised to remain hydrated, wear protective clothing, and sunglasses, sunscreen, and seek shaded areas during peak daylight hours. So what's happening? We've got ridging that's going to dominate the weather pattern across most of the country through most of the day today, maintaining generally stable conditions. But lingering moisture will trigger a few showers and isolated thunderstorms across portions of the northern islands today for most of the day today. By this evening, prefrontal troughing associated with an approaching cold front will lead to increasing showers and thunderstorms over the northern islands through the overnight hours. Winds will remain moderate to fresh across the northern half of the country, while fresh to strong winds are expected elsewhere, falling off by this evening. So your forecast for today, for most of the country, northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, looking at a mix of sun and clouds today, becoming partly cloudy to cloudy tonight for the northern half of the country, but mostly fair tonight for the central islands. We've got about a 20% chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms this morning, increasing to a 20 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms by late afternoon for the extreme northern islands. 20% chance for the northwest and central islands. Possible afternoon thunderstorms for these areas. Better conditions for the southeast Bahamas, except for that near gale force advisory. We're looking at partly sunny conditions, becoming mostly fair tonight. Still a 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers and possible thunderstorms in the afternoon. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs in the mid 80s for most areas. about 84 to 86 Fahrenheit, between 29 and 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the low to mid 70s, between about 22 and 24 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook coming up in just a weather check, brought to you by Star General Insurance, made simple.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that
It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
wake up, it's a new day.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
In today's market, merchants shouldn't have to choose between the high fees of cards or the security risk of physical cash. SandDollar provides the ultimate hybrid solution, the instant settlement of a cash transaction paired with the seamless digital convenience of a card. By integrating SandDollar into your checkout, you're choosing a local high-efficiency system that eliminates the friction of exact change and the uncertainty of bank delays. It's the sophisticated choice for a modern Bahamian entrepreneur looking to optimize their daily operations. Join the future of local commerce today. SandDollar.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101. Get set.
Track and field fans, it's that time. Time for the B3A Carifta Trials, March 20th through 22nd at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Come see the country's finest young athletes in blazing battles on the track and fierce field competition as they look to book their tickets to the 53rd Carifta Games in St. George's, Grenada on the Easter holiday weekend. Who will make the team to represent the Bahamas? Be there for the B3A Carifta Trials, March 20th through 22nd at the original Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Competition starts at 5 p.m. on Friday, March 20th, and 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, March 21st and 22nd. General admission, $12. Children under 12, $8. $20 VIP. 3-day passes are $34 general admission, $20 children under 12, and $58 for a 3-day VIP pass. The B3A Carifta Trials, March 20th through 22nd. Don't you miss it.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch. And just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 4224796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Deandra Cartwright will be here. Also this morning, we are going to be talking with the forestry unit. They're going to be joining us in business today. Always a great conversation with them. So we're looking forward to that. That's all I had on this Monday. But let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, before we get into the some of the heavier stuff, did you watch the Oscars last night? Did you watch them? What did you think? One battle after another, taking the big prize and most of the prizes, more than anybody else. And I told you about my annual predictions in the NASA Guardian, and hey, I think I only got like 2 wrong. So. Hey, but no real surprises there. Maybe Best Director was a bit of a surprise, but pretty much in line with what I predicted and what I felt should win. So, including with the acting, all of the people I think I felt should win, or would win, won. So, hey, let's hear from you, though. What do you think about it? Did you watch? Any views on it? First woman ever to win cinematography in 98 years. That's kind of took a while. But yeah, you can text us, 422-4796, or call in if you wish, 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Did you think Sinners should have won Best Picture? Let us know what you think about that. All right, so the big headline in the NASA Guardian today, F&M facing an uphill fight. Dame Janet says party still has a strong chance to win the election, though. Okay, Artanika Thompson writing about it. The F&M has a strong chance of winning the upcoming general election, Dame Janet Bostwick said, but she added that securing a victory at the polls will be an uphill battle for the opposition party. Dame Janet, a senior member of the F&M, also lamented the fact that the opposition party is not unified ahead of the election, but said even without this cohesion, the party has a force which she thinks will be effective on Election Day. She said, quote, I think they have a strong chance to win. I think it is an uphill battle. Her comments coming in as in an interview with Eyewitness News on the sidelines of an event celebrating International Women's Day at Doris Johnson Senior High School. Regarding the lack of unity in the F&M, Dame Janet said, quote, I think there is a small percentage which have decided to go outside the party, and that is not good. It's always better that you have unity. we do not have unity, but we do have a force which can be effective which will be effective. We do have that. However, Dame Janet pushed back at assertions that the FNM has lost a chunk of its base, saying that the base has been effective, but and also gaining support. She said, quote, "We have to see what happens. I think it is a good position to contest this election and to, in fact, be effective and to win the election." All right. What do you make of that? What do you make of those comments there? Is it helpful? Does it hurt? Does it prove a point? Is it just facts? What say you on it? Give us a call. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Do these comments do more damage than good? Or you just, as a statesperson, a statesman, stateswoman, you just gotta call it like how it is. Just.
It's the facts.
It's the facts, right?
It's the reality.
That's just what it is.
I'm looking for the untruths. I don't see it yet.
Right.
If there were any untruths, then maybe we could look at this differently. But the reality is, I mean, she's saying things we already know. Small percentage that have decided to go outside of the party, which is not good. And we've seen this happen before. And we've seen what the results were when that happened. But this is all a part of governance and democracy, right? But taking a step back, I guess the point is it good for the party? I think that's
for someone to say, for someone of her stature to say this, or for anyone to say it, or what? Or to have the disunity?
Well, no. So I feel like her saying it is not necessarily a Dame Janet saying it, right? She's saying it as a statesman. Because any breakage within a political party is damaging to that party, right? You're supposed to have a unified front in the public's eye. I mean, we see this inside our governing parties, whichever administration it may be. What you see in the front is usually the unified position, but they do have differences of opinion behind closed doors. We are front row center to what's going on with the FNM for quite some time now. I feel like we've been going through this for about, 2-3 years now? And we're heading into an election. So she's stating facts.
Yeah. How big is the disunity, though? Is it a major part of it, or is it just one man and a few of his supporters?
I don't think, I mean, my personal opinion from what I've observed, I don't think it's just one man. I think there may be several. We just tend to see more about the one man more than others. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you've been his social campaign.
Well, he certainly wants to be seen.
Listen, his social campaign, whoever's running that, like, y'all are doing fabulous work right there. It's reaching out to all ages.
You said fabulous? I thought
Pardon?
you were saying, yes,
No,
fabulous, far too much, close.
Let's compare it to how it was before. Now, let's taking it before the COVID and whatnot that got him kicked out of office, right? His strategy for seeming more relatable to the people, that is an improvement.
People.
To the people.
Okay.
Y'all can't see me. I'm doing air quotes. Yeah, no, but going back to Dame Janet, she's not stating nothing that's not facts, right? And now I just I don't know how I feel about the strong chance to win. Personally, I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, anything could happen.
Well, so there is a chance. I don't know if it's a strong chance. Because I still want to... We
won't know until we know.
Well, that is true. But you know, you remember I told you I'm working on a little project just to compare the candidates for each area and whatnot like that. But, until we actually hear what they're trying to do...
Oh, my. This is an exercise in...
Futility?
You better believe it.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
No, but you remember...
But you got to occupy yourself, I guess.
So there's a method, right? Because I want to see whoever gets in.
Who
did you
wants
keep
to
your
do?
word?
Like, for the constituency? That's what you mean?
For the constituency.
Oh, boy.
And then overall.
Sure.
Not every single one, though. Of course, y'all know I watch on Long Island.
You have quite a few hobbies. I'm not sure if you should spend more time doing that then.
I have, yes, I do have more
I
hobbies.
wouldn't waste. That's pointless.
Dwight, could I just...
Why don't you go back and look what the current ones did? and promised to do.
There's the thing. I actually
look
started
what they
doing
promised
that.
to do and what they've done.
So I started doing that, and then I stopped because I'm like, okay, if I had to do like a check mark, like an exam,
right.
if I had to do that, I'd be like, okay, fail, maybe, yes.
Right.
Some things that
There
y'all
are a
didn't say
few
y'all
community
would do.
things, and for many.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Still some things. And then what was it? Somebody was trying to gaslight me. I feel like it was last week when I was saying, recalling some of the promises that were made, right? And they were like, oh no, they never said that. Yeah, I can bring it up for you. I don't know. This is why
you're only going to get frustrated. I wouldn't,
Speaking about frustration, we can't talk about that thing that happened at the airport because
We can get back to that.
There's a reason I'm late today, guys.
We'll get back to that. Let's take these calls. There's a whole lot to talk about this Monday. But let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Deanna.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be the first out of the gate on this matter. First and foremost, Deandra, yes, I agree with you. Like you, my family on my mom's side is from Long Island. Had the opportunity to travel to Long Island on numerous occasions. There were many promises in terms of development for Long Island. They were on, to me personally, they were on a good wicket. But there were some unkept promises that I believe that the current opposition party saying that they label Long Island as F&M country, that can do once they get back into power. I believe that they need to go back to that checklist and begin to check those things off to bring those improvements to Long Island. Remember now, Long Island was and still potentially is a work in progress, whereas it could become developed to the point just as Exuma has become developed in recent times. I believe that it is possible. So we're looking forward to seeing the movement on that. As far as the commentary from Dame Janet Boswick is concerned, I share many of her sentiments. The key thing that I take from that, though, is that it shows that even in a political party where friction is, the party, remember now, resembles a family. You are going to have friction. You're going to have a child or two that is really disruptive in the family, but the love is basically is still there. It's kind of taming that friction and bringing it down back into harmony. And I believe that is possible. The key role here is to bring about the unity in order to win the next general election if that is their intention. Unlike the other parties that claim that they are perfect, they don't want no one to know what's going on the inside. This is the only great delight I take out of this whole thing, because where there's this unity, you can actually bring unity back once the goal is focused on and achieved. And so I really appreciate her truth. That there is discombobulation in the party at the particular time, but it can be fixed and rebuilt if it is, like I said, the purpose to bring about the win for the next general election. So let's see how that goes. My closing statement is simply this: right now, my focus is nation building, and I really want to see us bring about a change where this nation is begin to prosper forward, upward, and onward. And right now, as it stands, I spoke to a number amount of persons yesterday on their views on where they see the country today, where they saw the country yesterday. And I'm talking about the persons, especially in the 50, 60 year, existence here in the Bahamas. And I can tell you the commentary is not a very positive one, because this is not where we thought the Bahamas would have been today. Since majority rule. But I'll close my mouth now and listen to the rest of the commentary from other persons who want to comment.
Okay.
And I say, hey, let's make the Bahamas great again.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, I mean, I think a key difference, a lot of people didn't get nominations from the PLP. They were seeking it and they didn't get it. They've gone quietly into the night. Right, they're not out there protesting and saying they're going to run as an independent.
Yeah,
which is
we haven't
very
heard.
much unlike. I'm sure they're not happy, but
Right.
they're not out there making all kinds of noise.
No.
And I'm sure they're letting their PLP folks know very much so that they are not pleased. But
Behind closed doors.
Right. And you
in
better
the fun of
give me some position if they do win again.
But I believe that was an expectation before they put their hats into the races, respectively, right? From some of them. The thing is that a lot of these folks that have put themselves up as aspirants, they knew what the potential outcomes may be. And also, if the decision is made for you not to be the candidate, you have to fall in line.
Well, that's not what's happening with the FNM.
No,
We're
this
seeing,
is where
almost
the FNM
everybody
can
is
learn from the PLP.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
And this is what they've been having for, 2 to 3 years?
Maybe even longer. Maybe even longer.
Honestly. Also,
probably decades.
Also, one of my friends messaged me just now. They was like, all islands have been a work in progress for about 20 years. I would go further than that. They've been that way for decades. So what is the measure of...
Stop.
What is the measure?
Centuries.
Okay.
Centuries.
I was trying to talk about, like, in my lifetime, my parents and my grandparents'
This is
lifetime.
older than us. This is bigger than us. This is, right? The promises have been made forever.
Listen,
and,
I was just
yet,
down on San
and
Salvador. I could not get a proper data connection on a live or BTC. I don't understand how we expect for our islands to progress if they don't have the simple infrastructure required to make that progress a reality. I just don't.
Wow. All right, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. No? All right, let's read these messages. This person says here, Dame Janet Bostwick's remarks deserve serious reflection. She has earned the credibility to speak candidly, and if she says what she offered about the state of the FNM is true, then it should prompt honest introspection. But beyond any one party, this moment should challenge us as Bahamians to elevate the national conversation. We must move beyond politics and talk more seriously about governance. The wealth of this country must truly become common for all Bahamians. Our engagement cannot begin and end in the ballot box. We must demand better leadership, stronger schools, reliable power, accessible health care, and responsible economic stewardship. In 2026, these are not luxuries, these are necessities. Progress will only come when citizens expect more and leaders are held accountable to deliver it.
I like that.
Well said. This texter says here, please, people like, I have to let Miss Janet know, okay, that we prefer a political party who has challenges like the FNM than an alleged corrupt government who doesn't believe who believes they don't have to answer to the media. People like Miss Janet, why do they keep doing that? Okay, anyway, Dame Janet and the leader of the official opposition and the incoming prime minister need to not worry their heads because this one is over. We, the Bahamian people, will decide who is going to be the government. It doesn't matter how much money they get. Okay.
I feel like that's very tunnel vision. Like
I don't know what's happening there.
They're telling the future. They see the future. I can't follow it.
Well,
though.
whose future? I mean, you think, you hope,
No, it's
right?
like their future. Their future.
I mean, I don't know if it works,
might be in
but
their
I hear you.
team.
Okay, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's possible.
Anything is
gotta,
possible
gotta
if you
speak
just
things
believe.
into existence, I guess.
Are you saying they were going to
But okay.
manifest the outcomes of the election? I'm sure there are prayer warriors right now.
Things are more complicated than
started.
that. That's not how
This is Monday
how it works.
morning.
Let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Yeah, as you well know, as time go by, you have to affect this on both sides of the parties as we move forward to the elections now and the past. But Janet, Ms. Bostwick has a good point there. But what I've realized that the base of the FNM party, the machinery is really back. I've seen some serious persons who were out there and the real makers of the party, they're back. And based on what I see, and I got family on both sides, this could be something. This ain't be no washover. I think, like she said, they have a chance, and really they do. I'm telling you, boy, this ain't, the Haman people, they are peculiar. They're very quiet. And when they go to the polls, just like in 92, boy. So don't
Were they
bet on
quiet
this
in
one.
92?
I think, but when you know that the PRP was strong and Celine and all that, and no one ever thought he would be defeated. But boy, anybody
I
could
was
be
only a
defeated.
kid, but I think
Oh yeah, but
everybody knew
you
in
were young,
92.
Yeah, I was.
People were saying that in 87. But 92 was clear that there was time for a change.
Boy, but what I see and what I hear on the ground now, boy, don't be surprised. I bet. No way. Mm-mm.
Okay.
The Hamans are very peculiar. So she's right. I think the FNM party machinery is back. Thanks.
Okay. Hey, ever since 2002, the opposition party always seems to have more than a chance. So that's not the thing. It's whether the current administration has a chance to repeat for the first time since '97. That's the question. That's the question. That's a harder one to answer.
And it will not be answered until we see those numbers coming in. Because as the caller said, and I agree, our people are peculiar. But we already know how they go. They can smile in your face, take what you got, and still vote against you.
And we've been concerned about all of our opposition parties going back a couple of decades. And yet they still win. So, they've had leadership challenges, and people said, never will that person be prime minister. And yet here they are. And we can say that about the last three. And my gosh, so the opposition always has a chance. It's whether the governing party can do two straight. That's the bigger question. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you can hear you now.
Yeah, good morning to both of you again.
Morning.
Hi.
Yeah, Dwight, it's kind of nice to hear you talking about faith, speaking things into existence, man. Hey, you sound like you go.
That's not what I meant. But I'm just saying, I guess that's what that texter was saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we must do that. I'm saying that I guess that's what the texter's saying by their declarations. They're like really so it's a little bit not quite what I was saying.
You didn't mean it the way I took it.
No.
Yeah,
Probably
but,
not.
Some things you really should not speak at all because it could breathe life into it. And I feel as though Miss Boswick, she should not say anything negative, even though it's obvious. You have leaders around the world who clearly are telling you not to believe what you clearly see, and they win with it. So I feel as though she should say things privately to those individuals, and she should have been smart enough to keep the party together because Mr. Minnis is going to really hurt the party. So, what these people...
Well, again, maybe she's bigger than that, right? She's earned the right to speak her mind and to say what's what because the truth is bigger than the party.
Yeah, but you don't have to be the first one to pull out your cell phone and videotape it and expose it to the world.
Is she the first one?
The position that she is holding, she should be one about cohesiveness and not say anything negative about the party that she served for so long that actually made it possible for her to live such a wonderful life.
Interesting.
Just don't say it. You don't always have to speak the truth. You could keep it to yourself sometimes.
Wow.
Particularly if you have prominent position like she has.
But is she the first one to say it?
That's why she's pulling out the cell phone first, like we do, to videotape it and then broadcast it. Now you can have this whole thing just reverberating all down the road.
Have you been talking to anybody on the party or persons that are affiliated with the party or anybody who's been just watching this for the last, I don't know how many years?
Yeah, but the party really, the foundation, but I don't want to go there because then I'll be sounding like her.
I get what you're saying. The public's been saying this. The media's been saying it. Everyone asks every time, what about this guy? Is he still a factor? Everyone's focused on Minnis, absolutely. But you're saying the higher-ups in the party shouldn't give it any
They should not highlight that at all.
I get it.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We all know, because you can't hide it. We all know what's going on.
It's not even that the writing's been on the wall. It's been staring at us for the longest part. We've been watching and waiting to see what would happen. And honestly, we've seen this happen before.
I mean, it's been with one of those planes, guy written in the eye, in the
Let's
eye,
not
in
talk
the air.
about planes today.
Oh, that again? We'll get to the bomb scare in a bit.
Yeah.
Let's take some more calls before we have to go to the news. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight and DeAndre.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Dwight. Man, I mean, what I be disappointed about, right? When I hear these senior ex or former politicians, right? They come to voice their opinion, what they're entitled to. But I mean, shouldn't they have an opinion, like, before we get into a general election? Because see, once your opinion, you only could find the time to have an opinion during a general election. You're sending me in the status quo. You're giving me status quo vibes, right? Because if you was advocating or trying to get whatever it is you were concerned about prior to the election, then you had me. But it appears that every time there's a general election, these persons that I mean,
no, I think that's unfair. I mean, often it's the media going to approach them or ask them questions.
Yeah, but that's just like what the gentleman said. If the media, right, then you should say no comment, right? You should be humble enough to say media, no comment. But when you can go out there and speak, right? Then you have to understand that a lot of people is not gonna agree with what you are talking about, because this is politics. And me as a former FNM, right? I cannot support this FNM, and I can support the last one because
See, we don't believe you now, because there's no way that you would have made that mistake if you were.
Yeah, Dwight.
That's a serious Freudian slip there.
No, there's no way I would have made that mistake. I've never supported those three-finger persons, right? I've never made that mistake, right? I've always supported the
it's a Monday,
right now,
Monday
I'm
morning.
supporting the fist, Dwight. I'm looking for strength.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Oh, bye. One more call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Powerful.
Are you there, caller? Good morning. No, let's take the other one. Really quickly, caller. You got about 40 seconds.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. I agree with Dame Janet Bostwick because she is speaking truth to power, and it's not nice. That's why the party is in the state it's in now, because everybody just keeping their mouth closed and don't want to speak truth to the party. You must tell the leaders of the party what's going on in the party is not right so they can correct it. And that's why the Bahamian people is so disillusioned. They don't know who they want to vote for because they don't have no faith and confidence in these politicians. They need to be straightforward and do things in the right way. It's not possible to stifle the Bahamians by being dishonest and trying to just do things out of hate and spite. The Bahamian people need to go out and vote, look around in their constituencies, and vote for the best person. Don't worry about the party. Vote for the best person in the constituency. We need a good country with God-fearing people who are going to stand up and do what is right.
Okay. Thank you very much.
In the name of Jesus.
Appreciate it. Appreciate your call. Wow. Okay. Hey, we're going to break for news. As we go to the news, this is now an Oscar-winning song, folks.
All right.
Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, which also won Best Animated Feature.
All right.
Yeah. So, hey, this is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Like I wanna be, we dreaming hard, we came so far now, I believe we're going up, it's our moment. You know together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Up, with our voices, going to get you so warm, gonna be golden. I'm done hiding now, I'm shining like I'm born to be. Our time, no fears, no lies, that's who we're born to be. Waited so long to break these walls down, to wake up and feel like me. Put these patterns all in the past now, and finally live like the
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we can sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
It is time. Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:20, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. So here's what's going on. We've got a near gale warning in effect for the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Fresh to strong winds with occasional gusts to near gale force are likely across these areas tonight through tomorrow. Boaters in these areas, especially small craft operators, are urged to remain in port. So we've got ridging that's going to dominate the weather pattern for most of the country for most of the day today, maintaining generally stable conditions. However, lingering moisture may still trigger a few showers and isolated thunderstorms across portions of the northern Bahamas. By this evening, prefrontal troughing associated with an approaching cold front will lead to increasing showers and thunderstorms across the northern islands, and winds will remain moderate to fresh across the northern half of the country, while fresh to strong winds are expected elsewhere, falling off by this evening. So that cold front we told you about is expected to enter the northern islands by early Tuesday, bringing showers and thunderstorms along the frontal boundary as it pushes into the central Bahamas by Wednesday, before stalling across that part of the country. A mid to upper level trough will further enhance shower and thunderstorm activity while drawing moisture across the area. That's going to mean unsettled weather for the rest of the week. Additionally, a low pressure system is expected to develop along the frontal boundary by mid to late week. That's going to bring heavy rainfall and the potential for localized flooding through to early Friday. Conditions are expected to gradually improve across the northern and northwest Bahamas by Friday afternoon, while unsettled weather persists across the southeastern islands and parts of the central Bahamas through Saturday. So an unsettled week ahead. We do need the rain, though, desperately. So let's hope for that. Now, there is a moderate risk of rip currents along beaches across the islands, and very high UV levels expected again today. So remember to hydrate and limit activities outdoors during peak daylight hours. Your forecast most of the country, a mix of sun and clouds, becoming partly cloudy to cloudy by tonight for the northern half of the country, but mostly fair for the central islands. In the southeast Bahamas today, partly sunny, becoming mostly fair tonight, but again with that near gale force warning in effect. Temperatures today, we're looking at highs in the mid-80s, as high as 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius for some areas. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the low to mid-70s. In your extended outlook, by Tuesday tomorrow, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds for the southeast Bahamas, turning partly cloudy at night. Most of the country, though, will be seeing partly cloudy to cloudy conditions. You've got a 40 to 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms for most of the country tomorrow as that cold front moves through. By Wednesday, cloudy to overcast for most of the country, variably cloudy for the southeastern islands. Still a 60 to 80% chance of widespread showers, rain, and scattered thunderstorms for most areas by Wednesday. And Thursday, cloudy to overcast across the country with a few breaks, only a few breaks possible. A 50 to 70% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the northern half of the country, but decreasing to about 20 to 40% chance by the evening. 30 to 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms for the central and southeast Bahamas. And still a mix of sun and clouds for most areas by Friday. So, get ready for that, folks. But possibly a break from some of this heat. That's your Morning Blend weather check brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. Are you looking to paint? Well, your local Sherwin-Williams store has top quality paints, expert advice, and everyday discounts to help you save only at Sherwin-Williams. .24, time for traffic, brought to you by NUA Insurance. In your real-time traffic right now, I've got a few hot spots for you. You've got Milo Butler Highway, as usual. You've got that heavy traffic from well below, south of the Fire Trail roundabout, from Bellet Road straight through to Tawny Williams Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. And again, that's northbound traffic there. We're also seeing heavy traffic on the Tawny Williams Darling Highway side. That's westbound to that roundabout. And once you're north of that area, you'll still see that slow-moving traffic as you get onto New Providence Highway all the way up to John F. Kennedy Drive and the six-legged roundabout there. JFK seeing heavy traffic eastbound to that roundabout. Southbound on New Providence Highway, also heavy traffic there. Over on Gladstone Road, we're seeing slow-moving northbound traffic from just north of Fire Trail straight through to the roundabout with Bahamar Boulevard and JFK Drive. JFK there. Near Theodore Lane, seeing some slow-moving westbound traffic. West Bay Street near Saunders Beach, not looking pretty for you at all. Heavy traffic from well west of that area, all the way east to that roundabout with New Providence Highway and exiting the roundabout into West Bay Street, heading towards Arawak Key. Slow-moving traffic there as well. That's eastbound. And once you get east of Arawak Key, you're seeing that heavy traffic again near Nassau Street heading into downtown Nassau. In eastern New Providence, you got a lot of issues as well. You've got Eastern Road, heavy traffic westbound this morning, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive, especially the major intersections like Fox Hill Road. And Fox Hill Road backed up both directions, especially northbound. And then again, once you get west of Beatrice Avenue, heading into Robinson Road, that heavy westbound traffic all the way up to East-West Highway and Marathon. And for the west, we've got Independence Drive, both directions, heavy traffic, and Blue Hill Road. From St. Vincent all the way through to really Cordo Avenue. You see that slow-moving northbound traffic, especially north of Carmichael. So good luck to you. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert. Brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Need cover you can count on? Well, you can buy your motor insurance your way. Stop by your nearest branch or visit nuainsurance.com. Simple, secure, and ready when you are.
At Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability. But the Gold package gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance where available. Our Star General Gold package also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made
The
simple.
following is a paid political message.
Kalani. Whoa. Hey. Kalani. Oh, the future is brighter. Oh, vote for MacGyver. Hey, 'cause she is a fighter. Kalani. Hey, the future is brighter. Oh, if you need improvement, oh, come join the movement. Come join the movement. Hey, you're looking for change, find it here. You're looking for justice, find it here. You're looking for truth, find it here. Vote for MacGyver. She's here for you. See everybody in Kalani. Change is here. Hey, hands in the air. See everybody in Kalani. Vote for MacGyver. She is a fighter.
That was a paid political message.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Wendy's has brand new chicken tenders, and they're everything you've been craving. Crispy, juicy, and seasoned just right. These tenders bring the flavor from the very first bite. Dip 'em, dunk 'em, love 'em. With sauces like sweet chili, scorching hot, ranch, honey barbecue, honey mustard, and Wendy's signature sauce. Grab them as a kid's meal, enjoy them on their own, or make it a combo that hits the spot every time. For tenders you're gonna know by name, it's gotta be Wendy's.
Struggling to find your financial rhythm? Make that move to Fidelity and let us help you orchestrate your financial goals into perfect harmony with free financial coaching sessions. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Given the throne, I didn't know how to believe I was the queen that I'm meant to be. I lived two lives, tried to play both sides, but I couldn't find my own place. Caught a path-led child, 'cause I got too wild, but now that's how I'm getting paid. Could I see on stage? I'm done hiding, now I'm shining like I'm born to be. We dreaming hard, we came so far, now I believe. We're going up, 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 it's our moment. You know together we're going.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with DeAndrew Cartwright. We are talking about what's in the news, getting your reaction to what's in. We're going to move on to some other topics in a bit, but I'm still getting your reaction to comments from Janet Bostwick. Someone sent an interesting text saying that if the media had asked Hubert Ingram, he would have said something very similar. I think when you get to this age, you can just say what you want to say. Why not?
I'm not even sure it's just about age, but also status. Like these are respectable
You can't get
folks.
that at 25, so you won't get the status at that age. So I think it does come with age.
Right, but it's also like if they were a disgraced politician, you wouldn't take their word seriously.
Well, that's true.
Right, so
It
is age, but it's also what you've accomplished and
Sure.
it's the respect that you have from the people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Also, getting your reaction to the Oscars last night. If you have anything to say, you can text us about that. You, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I think.
Okay.
I think. Well, that's what I predicted was going to happen.
I
mean,
heard
do
you
think
say
it
you were
was-
off by 2.
Yeah. Only.
And that's significant considering how many awards did they give out? Many?
I got international film wrong, and I really did think Ryan Coogler was going to win Best Director.
Mm. Well, you can't be right all the time.
That's right.
Hey, and only getting 2 wrong out of all of it, that's pretty good. You know
I
your
think so.
stuff.
Even predicted hairstyling, production design,
Yo.
and sound. I got it all right.
Listen.
I told you it was going to be Frankenstein getting most of the artistic awards and
See,
F1 winning sound. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. But
Okay.
anyway, all right. You got something, and then we'll get to
Yes.
your ordeal from yesterday as well.
Yeah, sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, just saying that World Down Syndrome Day is happening on Saturday, this Saturday, the 21st of March. So, the Bahamas Down Syndrome Association, we are celebrating, and I'm saying we because I support them, Rock Your Socks. So, you can do it today, any day this week, leading up to Saturday, where you want to wear your socks on Friday the 20th or whichever day you determine to give visible support for Down syndrome. So it's just to say what the Rock Your Socks campaign is. It's a global movement celebrating the abilities and rights of individuals with Down syndrome. The date itself, the 21st of March, represents the triplication of the 21st chromosome that causes Down syndrome. So it's a day of awareness, education, and celebration. The theme this year is Together Against Loneliness, because loneliness is a major issue for persons with disabilities. So inclusion is not just a physical presence, but it's a meaningful participation. So wear your colorful mismatched socks, which symbolize diversity. It's fun, visible, and sparks dialogue, and everybody can participate at your school, your business, your church, your families. When you wear your socks, you're sending a message that individuals with Down syndrome are valued, capable, and never alone. You can contact the folks at the Bahamas Down Syndrome Association and get your pair, because it's a fundraising event. But if you can't get your pair from them, just wear what you have. But if you can, please purchase, and you can get those from Betty Taylor, 544-2140, Ida Poitier Turnquest at 427-4492, Shana Etil, 437-9670, or Amanda Curling, 457-0941. Y'all please wear your socks. Let's support our folks with Down syndrome. They are people first, and do not diss their ability.
Wonderful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you, Dwight. I really appreciate you letting me do that.
Of course. You had a rough day yesterday.
Listen.
Is what happened to you related to the bomb scare
Yes.
at LPIA?
Yes.
So tell
Yes.
people what was supposed to happen with you yesterday.
I was supposed to be on a flight from San Salvador back to the capital. My flight was supposed to have left San Salvador at 2:45 p.m. We did not leave until about 9:45 p.m. last night.
And you got in at what time?
I think that was right after, like around 10:30 or so. And they made some pretty good time flying. We were on the 70-seater. I understand that the plane was switched out. They had to also switch pilots because did you know that pilots have they have a cap on the amount of hours they can be in the air, right? I learned that on a different project I used to do back in the day. But when they were mentioning it, I told them I knew the reason why. But either way, they said everything got pushed back to a 2 to 3 hour delay. This is what we heard at around, I want to say 4 or 5. Then we got another update at 7, which was that it would not leave New Providence until 8, meaning that it wouldn't arrive until 8:45, and we will not be in the air until like 9:30.
Yeah. Well, this bomb scare, we're told that the NAD got the call shortly after 7 o'clock yesterday morning that there was a bomb on the 3rd floor of Terminal B. The police were called, and it was chaos. Everybody was evacuated. Flights couldn't, everyone was in a holding pattern, and it just continued until after 9 o'clock. But that set off a wave of delays
It did.
all day long. So this is the second major bomb scare in a month or two. right after the Grand Bahama Power Company,
Yeah.
that bomb scare at a power plant on Grand Bahama, which caused GBPC to pull the power for 5 hours while they made sure that there was no threat. And of course, that disrupted business and lives on Grand Bahama, and many serious claims were made about that that power issue, the lack of power. But that was very disruptive, and here we go again. What is going on?
You know, it's better to be safe than sorry, and I could appreciate all the efforts that went into ensuring the safety of
Sure,
folks.
absolutely.
So just want to give a shout out to everybody who actually made sure everybody was safe. I want to say a special thank you to the Bahamas Air folks, because you could tell they were tired. You could tell that they were going through it, but they still made it work. So cheers to Bahamas Air. I'm hoping that all the international folks on my flight got sorted out, because there were no flights flying out. Because remember, Sinsal also has like the connecting flights to get out to different parts of the world with their affiliation with Club Med. And I'm like, what are the policies? So now, Mike, Dwight, I always have these questions. What are the policies? What are the practices? How do we learn from this? Is there going to be a report on this that's available to the public or whatnot? Like, how are we going to improve our response time?
Response time?
Response time meaning like the trickle down effect. So if you publicly say it's going to be a 2 to 3 hour delay, don't say it's going to be a 2 to 3 hour delay.
Well, you're talking about the airlines now.
Yes.
Well, that's a different story. My concern is what's going on with our people to be doing this kind of nonsense. They did arrest somebody in relation to the Grand Bahama bomb scare, and that person's been charged. And we're told that was an employee.
This one needs to be jailed.
But this person, there needs to be serious consequences for
Immediately.
this. And they need to trace this, find out who this is, and make an example of this clown.
I agree, 100%.
This is insane, and it cannot continue.
100.
This is not funny. This is not, I don't even know what reasons you had for this, but you need to regret the day you even thought about doing this. Right? And
I'm all
you
with
pray
you.
they find that person very soon. And if you are even considering saying the B word, stop. Stop it. Right? But this can't be allowed to continue. They've got to make an example of this person when they find this one. This is outrageous. Outrageous. All right. Speaking of outrageous, this is unbelievable. We've been telling you about this one for a few days now. And wow, the turn of events in this case. Prosecutor seeking perjury charge after teen in sex case says she lied. Artesia Davis has been following this from the beginning, and this is the latest now. Prosecutors are seeking to charge a teenager with perjury after she gave evidence that resulted in the acquittal of 30-year-old Van Miller Jr. on child sex charges. Miller, a Royal Bahamas Defense Force Marine, was accused of unlawful sexual intercourse with the minor that began in September 2021 and continued until March 9th, 2023. After initially identifying Miller in court as the man whom she met on Instagram and began having sex with a short time later, the now 16-year-old returned to the witness stand and gave evidence that undermined the prosecution's case. She claimed that she was pressured to lie about having sex with Miller. The witness said she never had sex with Miller, and at no time had he touched her in a sexual way. Police caught the teen and Miller together on the evening of March 9th, 2023. She'd previously said that Miller was dropping her home after they had sex in a church's yard, but he sped off when they saw her mother. The mother followed the car and called the police. See, this still isn't making sense. Who stopped the vehicle near C.I. Gibson High School. So they took a piece of a cloth from her underwear, the underwear that she wore that night, which did indeed contain semen. However, there was insufficient DNA in the sample to do action against a blood sample from Miller. Justice Neil Brathwaite directed the jury of 5 men and 4 women to acquit Miller, as the prosecution's case was based on the testimony of the minor. In light of the witnesses' admitted lies, I think the prosecution asked the judge to recommend a perjury charge. Ah, boy. Wow.
I don't know what to say, Dwight.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. There's a lot of commentary going online about this, so a lot. And some persons in that commentary are alleging that the mother may have pressured her daughter because of particular reasons, i.e. she knew about it and may have been compensated. Of course, we don't know these things to be true. We don't know what the realities are. But this entire thing is, I have no words. I don't understand.
There's still a lot of holes in this story.
Very much so.
But that this got to this point
Oh, did I mention the WhatsApp
is bizarre.
Screenshots, apparently. Like, they're circulating WhatsApp screenshots.
Of what?
Allegedly, between the mom and the man. Right. To say recommendations of perjury and whatnot like that. Right.
What now?
It's right online.
Oh, boy.
And so now to see it officially reported, it's like, oh, okay, so those screenshots saying that the recommendation would be, okay. So not only are there holes, now we have questions on the efficacy of the process.
Well, everything. This story is still, again, questionable and barely adding up. But interesting. Very interesting. We will see how this goes. We will see what happens here. Got a few messages. I don't know if I can read all this. How does a man's fate, I think they're trying to say, depend on the teen's testimony? What do you mean by that? How did it get this far? I mean, she's the alleged victim. What do you mean? So why was she in his company? I want to know why. If did they really drive away? Why did they do that? That's bizarre, right? If there was nothing going on.
This is what I'm saying. The commentary is alleging that there was, and there is pressure.
And he's still hanging out every day.
Uh-huh.
For 2 years almost.
Yeah.
No one's denying that. And there is a significant age difference.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a child,
Mm-hmm.
a little child, 11.
Right. Again, the commentary is saying, allegedly, that the mother knew about this, and how could a parent not know that this was going on for how many years?
Well, that's possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anything is possible.
Anything's possible. The public would like to know who pressured her, as they need to be held accountable as well. Yeah, well, I mean, she's saying the police. The police, when they finally did get them.
Again, if a child has been, and I'm not a psychologist, so bear with me, right? But if a child has been conditioned to think that they are grown and that certain things are proper, when they are then told that those things are not proper, this causes a conundrum for their brains, right? And again, I'm not a psychologist. I know a little bit about this stuff, but still. So you can imagine if you think, as this child who thinks that they're grown because you've been told that you are and have been engaging allegedly in certain activities, been told by the authorities, okay, this is wrong, but the person that you've been conducting this with, or persons who know about the situation, are then saying to you, no, this is okay, you've been doing it, blah, 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 you're confused. And then let's be clear, sometimes the approach of our police, not all of them, some of them, may not be adequate for the situation. And I'll leave that point right there.
Very disturbing. Let's take a call really quickly here. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Just quickly in regards to that case we were just talking about, I think we need to start making parents accountable. So let's take him out of the picture, take her out of the picture. Think about the mother. Why don't you know what your 11-year-old child is doing? Why? When you become a parent, life has to change. And what's happening is parents aren't changing their lifestyle around these children. So I feel like the mother needs to be charged with something, some kind of neglect, something. It has to happen, and the parents know that they could be possibly charged. They will take more responsibility for these children. It is not the child's fault. It is not. Let's look at the parents. Let's look at him. And somebody has to be charged. It has to happen.
I hear you. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Well, this can't just go like this. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered. Again, the people who pressured her, we need to explore that. And what really happened? Why did they run away or drive off when they saw the mother? What was that about, right? So we'll see if we get the answers. I don't know. One more call? Yeah, one more call on this, and I want to get to another issue that is going to be controversial as well. Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Brother Strachan, good
Hi.
morning to you and your guest.
Good morning.
I was following this case just to see the outcome of it, right? It appears to me like the mother know the car that she was looking for. Because if you're standing in the road and a car passing you up and down, cars are passing you, you're not worrying about none of those cars, just one particular car. You that grab your attention. It makes me seem like you know or who you were looking for. So apparently she have known about it.
Not necessarily, and maybe she could see them through the windows, through the glass, right? Not necessarily. I mean, it's possible, or maybe not.
Well, I mean, you okay, let's look at it logical. You're standing in the road. You're standing on a busy street.
I don't know if it's a busy street.
Cars well, I don't know the road. I'm just saying. It couldn't be in a dead end if he could have sped off and just go straight.
I don't know that either.
It must be a road with traffic.
No, it doesn't mean anything. This is wild speculation. Right? Possible she could see them, and so right, you might be right, but it's
okay.
There are many other possibilities.
Listening. I mean, that is what I gather from it.
Okay, there are many other possibilities, but thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, yeah, you want to take that one? Sure, one more. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Mr. Strachan, how are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
And your guest, good morning to you.
Morning.
Mr. Strachan, I also been following that case, and I've read the story. From 2021, I think, if I remember right, this conundrum started. I want to concur with the lady just before the brother a moment ago. Why is it, or do you believe in your view from where you stand? I do believe in cases like this that the parent should be accountable. There should be some accountability of the parent, regardless if they are together or not together. I believe we will have better control. For example, even the marker alert. I am very much disturbed that when I go out doing my personal business, the phone just go off with this marker alert. Then what happened? Business as usual. There is no report as to where the child was. The child was where, face or safe or whatever. I think the lady, in support of her, there should be accountability on parent. I talking with father and mother, that you know your child is a juvenile. You should have better report on your child. Even in school, my sister is a teacher, and she said some parents be years not picking up their children's support. I also believe that there should be some penalty on that. I don't know if they can do anything about it. I don't know if the Minister of Education can, but you have a parent. You come from a home, you don't feed yourself. So should there be some sort of report? I'm just asking. What do you think, Mr. Strachan?
Cannot disagree. The parents have to be held accountable. There's a lot more that needs to happen with this case. There's a lot more. This cannot be the end, right? There are too many holes here. And, there's a lot going on. But we are imploring the authorities not to just let this go, even if you do get the perjury charge here. It's bigger than this. But we'll keep you posted. So this is the big headline in the Tribune today. No action against dog killer officer. Wow. National Security Minister Wayne Monroe said investigators found no breach of policy in a correction officer's fatal shooting of a family dog. meaning the officer will not face disciplinary action despite widespread public outrage. Meanwhile, Humane Society President Kim Arana has branded the decision predictable. So Aaron is saying, quote, that attack was unwarranted. Now, of course, they're going to defend their own. Bravo, that's what we said they'd do, and they haven't surprised us. Well, Monroe said authorities reviewed the circumstances of the incident and found nothing that warranted discipline under the existing firearm rules. Monroe said, quote, they looked at all the facts. For instance, if you discharge a firearm where you may be in danger of causing collateral damage, that would be something that would call for discipline. You're not supposed to fire a firearm out of a moving vehicle, things like that. Well, what? Don't they do that out of police chases all the time?
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Like almost...
Sorry, who said that now? The minister? But didn't he say he doesn't have direct... Okay, sorry.
Okay. So nothing that would call to say that he breached any policy with regard to the use of firearms was found. Monroe said such incidents are judged from the officer's perspective at the time rather than by hindsight. So he said, quote, the judgment on how it's done is not whether me or Rashad, I don't know who that is, would do it. That's an example he gave. Okay. Rashad would do it because Wayne Monroe or Rashad, this is very specific. Is this somebody? Rashad Roll, why? That's the example? Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay. I'll read this again. So this is a quote from Minister of National Security, Wayne Monroe. The judgment on how it's done is not whether me or Rashad would do it because Wayne Monroe or Rashad Roll might not use... Is that who interviewed him? Yes, yeah, okay. It's the editor of the Tribune. So yeah, that's what he was doing. I wouldn't have put this quote in the paper. But anyway, wow. Might not use deadly force, but... The whole thing is just awkward now. And we may end up dead, and there might be nothing wrong with our decision not to use deadly force, but it's a subjective judgment. So the investigating officer will say, why use deadly force? You got all that because my head is hurting. Yeah, that made any sense?
No.
Oh, God.
No.
And they would judge, well, is that something that would be justifiable sitting where he is, not as a Monday morning quarterback? I feel like I've been shot. What's happening? Huh? What was
Brownie.
that? Do I have to read that again? I don't want to read it again. But
Justice for Brownie?
I don't understand. What? Anyway. Okay. Yesterday, the Bahamas Humane Society president, Kim Arana, called the decision, yes, we already read that Tribune, saying, quote, they're protecting themselves. I called it from the beginning. The man killed the dog, and the dog was not attacking the man. Therefore, that is why I was calling for an independent investigation. Responding to Monroe's comments about collateral damage, Arana said the officer was merely lucky. To me, that doesn't fly. There's a quote. You're saying to me that policemen could shoot at something as long as there's nobody else around. Why was he walking around with his gun unholstered? As you may recall, the shooting occurred on March 6th on Soldier Road as correctional officers walked in a funeral procession for retired officer Andrew Sears. Video shared widely online shows officers with leashed dogs passing the property of veteran Bahamian musician Duke Errol Strachan when two dogs began barking and approached. One officer who had his handgun already drawn fired a single shot that killed the 3-year-old dog. The killing sparked national outrage and criticism from animal welfare advocates. 92-year-old Strachan said the dog belonged to him and had been given to him by his daughter. On Friday, the Department of Correctional Services apologized to Strachan. Wow. They actually apologized. And on Friday, later, almost a week, and committed to giving him a new dog.
A life for a life? Is that what we're saying?
What? Where's this dog? Is it like a retired canine dog, or is it, whose dog is
those
this?
Things cost a lot of money. Remember. So you have to protect those things that cost a lot of money.
I don't know. Would you accept that dog? I don't know. Anyway.
No, because you tell me that you could kill my dog and then you could just buy me a new one. Why you kill my dog? I
Wow.
still haven't. But what's the reason?
That's very...
What's the reason?
It's
I
very
still didn't hear
interesting.
it. Where it is.
All right. When the Tribune visited his Soldier Road home on Friday, Strachan and his wife were being visited by members of the department. Ooh.
Oh,
Two other dogs sat in the front yard. Those dogs. Prison Commissioner Don Clare said it was important to bring the matter to a conclusion. It took them that's quite a few days. Strachan said in his response, quote, I appreciate their concern, and they came here and drove to settle it. We came to a conclusion, which I'm quite satisfied. They're going to find me a dog.
I
He
have
said,
comments, but I will not make them.
He said officers who also agreed to provide money to help feed the dog. Oh, this is getting
And that's not like
more
Alabama got
interesting.
sued.
Although grateful for the gesture, Strachan said he still misses the animal. He recalled putting out food for the dog, sometimes forgetting that it was gone forever. Oh, he's still doing that? Oh, no. Asked if he forgave the officer who shot the dog, he said yes, but still questioned why it happened. Oh, so that guy didn't come? To the
He didn't show up?
Oh.
Maybe he doesn't think he did anything wrong. Do we have a public statement from him yet? No? Or her? Was it a, it was a him? Every Monday, I feel like y'all stress me out with these things.
Let's get your reaction to that, folks. We got a couple minutes before we have to go to the news, but we want to get your reaction to that. What do you make of that the whole thing? It's just really, really
Justice for Browning.
interesting. 323-6232. They're going to get him a dog. 325-4316, and they offered to feed him. 325-4259.
We got that in writing.
Huh?
Is that technically? Can
Cool.
the lawyer tell me if you accept that? If you say you forgive and then you accept the new
I
dog?
think this is very tricky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like you can't claim any wrong after that. I feel
You gotta hush your mouth.
This is what I'm saying. That sounds.
Huh.
Was that a hush? Did they admit to
And
bribery?
then I don't trust the dog.
Did they admit to bribery?
Like-
that sounds like bribery.
Like, is that dog a spy? I don't know.
I don't know.
They've
Will it
got
be the
that-
same type of
yeah,
dog?
okay.
You know, the Royal Bahamian pot
And then
cake
what if
is
that
a
dog
serious
bites
thing.
you? What do you do? The dog,
the dog that replaces
or
the
bites
one
the
that
other
was shot,
dogs.
right, was potentially provided by the Department of Corrections, and that is turned over. So ownership would be turned over to Duke Carroll. So I don't know. I don't.
I don't think he should accept
I need to
that
talk to a
dog.
lawyer.
No. I'm not. I don't feel comfortable about it. What say you, caller? Good morning.
Hi, morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
First time calling here. I love listening to your show in the morning.
Thank you. Welcome.
It goes based off just how police supposed to de-escalate a situation with an actual human. So if you have two humans, you reach on the scene as a police officer and you analyze what's happening. You should just escalate the situation. So in that case, him walking the dog, it was a simple thing. He could have just walked on the other side. And if that dog travels from on the opposite side of the road onto their side of the road when incoming traffic is passing aggressively, then things take a wild turn. But he was on the side where the dog was, and I guess he did the first best thing he think he should do, which wasn't necessary, wasn't called for, you know? So I don't like the fact that it had to turn out that way. It resulted in that way. But everybody is responsible for their actions at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? No? Okay. Let's read these. Boy. What about the CCTV to investigate? You talking about the dog thing still? Well, they say they moved on. They've concluded it. It's
there
done.
will be no justice for Browning.
Mm-hmm. Some of these parents sell. Oh boy, this is back to the parents.
No, say that out loud.
Some of
Dwight.
these parents sell their children, so the mother mad because she ain't getting another deal. Wow. And again, yes, we figured it out. He was speaking to this is back to Wayne Monroe, who's speaking to the editor of the Tribune, who is Rashad Roll. So he was giving. Again, it might work when you're talking to people, but when you go back and read it, and I don't know if that quote should have been there. It's just a very odd quote to put in. But you don't have to put everything they say in a newspaper article. It just can make it clumsy. And, when you read that in a year from now, like, what? What just happened? Right. This person says, I think we're too passive as a people sometimes. I would have sued the whole department for my dog.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, is it going to be worth it? How long is it going to take? How much money is that going to take? I don't know. Another text, the people killed a defenseless dog and were found to not be in the wrong and agreed not only to replace the dog, but feed it too. So what about all the police-involved shootings where people are killed and the police are found not liable? Do the mothers get a free son and a food store voucher?
Listen, they're saying that the Department of Corrections is different than the police force. That's what they're saying. The Department of Corrections will...
Oh, so if the Department of Corrections killed your son, you might get a new son.
See, now we got to think about the cases of mistreatment at the Department of Corrections.
But they'll always say it's another prisoner that did it.
Right. So, I mean...
It's always another prisoner.
Right.
No, it's hardly ever
Now y'all
officer.
caused me to go down another road. I don't know if I want to go there, but... Let me see if another texter says what I hope somebody else will say before I actually... I have a story I want to share.
Well, you sure you want to do that?
But no, because the texter said that there's a lot of... They said that there are some mothers that sell
you're back
their
to
daughters.
that.
Yes.
Oh, we have to save that one.
That is a reality.
Save that one for another day. This person said that dog should have been secured in the yard by law. From the video, the dog charged twice. The first time, the officers already shoot away the dog. The dog being secured is for its safety as well. Well, we had Kim Aaron on the show last week. She told you exactly the challenge with that, and the government is primarily to blame. Right? They're not enforcing the Animal Control Act, which has been in effect since 2010. There's no board that can regulate the act and whether people are abiding by the rules. This is a similar story with so many laws in our country. They passed, they're acts already, and yet when it comes to the government to enforce it, crickets. One final call, and then we got to go to the news. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Are you there? Hi, good morning. We can hear you.
Hey, morning. I'm calling to get on the program.
Yes, you're live on the air. We can hear you.
Hey.
Hi, you're live on the air.
Yeah, so on the topic you were speaking on just now, I mean, if the person, I'm just thinking the same thing. If the dog should have been in the house but it wasn't there, or within the yard, that's the first violation. How can you now claim something when you are not operating within the confines of the law?
Right.
I mean, like the person said last week about them not having the opportunity to police these laws. People should police themselves or handle the consequences of violating the rules.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, again, a lot of feedback there. Yeah, great point. And Wayne Monroe mentioned it when he was on the show last week as well, right? That even when you do secure the dogs, they manage to get out. So what happens? Let's say there was a wall or a fence and the dog was able to hop it and then still did what he did. But does that change it? Does that change anything at all? The fact that the dog was shot, even though he was secured? And so I think it can get very legally complicated. Yeah. But it is a great point that everyone's making that, the dog, this shouldn't have happened. The dog should not have been allowed to be roaming like that. And so that does introduce some nuances to this whole matter. But we hope everyone can move on. We are sorry what happened to the dog, and it's very sad.
So no proper justice for Brownie.
Again, you're the only one called it. Well, you and some internet people calling him that. That wasn't his name.
I never saw this name.
But that's an unfortunate end to the story. But we hope if he does get a new dog, Duke Strachan, that he will enjoy that dog, and it'll be a nice dog.
And the food that will be provided. That's Wild. Okay.
When we come back, we are going to be talking with the forestry unit. It is Forestry Week, folks. We're going to get details about that and this year's theme, Forestry Awareness Week. Forests and economies. It's coming up in business. Stay with us. We'll be back after headlines.
Got no pedigree. They don't love me. They only know me when they need me. They don't love me. They only know me when they need me.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. Views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, March 16th, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with DeAndre Cartwright, and it is a Forestry Awareness Week. And every year, we are very blessed to have the Director of Forestry with us, Danielle Hannock. Great to see you again.
Great to see you. Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, everyone. And good morning, Dwight. And good morning, Danielle. Oh, DeAndre.
Don't worry. I feel like when I have to call you Danielle, it's like I'm talking to my sister. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my sisters is named
Okay.
Danielle.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right. So, Forestry Awareness Week, you've got an interesting theme: forests and economies.
Yes, forests and economies. I think if we say the bush, right? The bush, that's our forest in the Bahamas. Because many persons don't directly equate the fact that our forests actually do help our economy. So the quickest thing we could think of is our mangroves, our fisheries, even in terms of our coppice, in terms of our straw work, our silver-top palms. If we have no more silver-top palms, we would actually have no more straw industry. That's how serious that is. Okay. And then even with our land crabs, crabbing industry, Like you would think the weight of crab meat is actually you could almost equate that to the same weight or value as gold in terms of buyouts, if you think of it that way. And then even our white crowned pigeon hunting, our wild boar hunting, those are all activities that occur in our forests. And our bush medicines, our medicinal plants that we love so much, all of those, our forest has value. This is a way that not only do we get fresh water, fresh air from it, but also we get all these resources that we're able to use. And because we're just used to using it because of just the nature of our culture, we don't even think, we just think it's going to be ubiquitous and always be there. But no, we want to highlight this awareness and this connectivity so you can connect like when you turn on your pump or your well and you're like, where is this water coming from? It is coming from our forest. It is being replenished by our trees and by our shrubs, our bush, our ground cover. All of that is helping with the system to replenish our water table. Do you know that 50% of water users on New Providence still rely on well water?
Oh boy.
So if we, in our water tables, our largest continuous system is that system that is in the Carmichael Road, Coral Harbor, Frank Watson Highway area. So that's a system. Really? Well, right. So so this is like we were just talking off air, like how I'm feeling. This is my annual pilgrimage to come report on forests in the Bahamas.
Right.
Yeah. And so we were just saying about that this is kind of like my yearly report. And so as we're looking at forests and how the sector has evolved over the last 4 years, recognizing that the degradation that has occurred or deforestation, meaning the removal of trees, yes, for whatever reason, housing, illegal squatting, whatever we want to talk about, but the fact that those trees were removed and we haven't been able to replace them as quickly.
Yeah. The consequences for everything.
The consequences are, this was our largest replenishment area for our entire water table for New Providence. So if over the last 4 years, we've lost 1/3 of that means that our water supply eventually will be impacted. So we take for granted the fact that we get clean water coming out of the tap. So, but in some jurisdictions, in some countries, that water is not clean.
Right.
So if you don't have clean water and you have to bathe in that water, you have to drink that water, you have to use that water to clean, then imagine. But we are so accustomed, we're so privileged and honored to have fresh, clean water that come from our forest. So think of it that way. So when we're saying protect that tree, we're not saying, oh, we just want, because people complain, oh, it costs too much litter. It does break up the sidewalk. Yeah, true. Maybe we did not plan accordingly. However, that tree still has value.
Wow, you said a lot there, Danielle Hannock. Okay, so I want to get back to deforestation because that's a big huge topic right now. But you said something interesting. I think you've said it before. But mangroves, you count that as forests.
Right. In the Bahamas, we consider our mangroves as forests legally as well. Like in our legal definition, in terms of our legislation, is considered forest, but also in terms of the ecosystem is also considered forest. And so you have the different levels of mangroves because basically mangroves are your connector between your terrestrial or dry land and your coral reefs and such. So that's that concept from ridge to reef where you have that connectivity of function.
All right. So that's a really important way to look at it.
Yes.
But are you seeing change when it comes to people who are building and filling in mangroves?
I would say that sometimes it is hard to see the city for the smoke, right? But because we know that we get reports on a daily basis of persons not doing it correctly. But at the same time, the ones who are doing it correctly, they're not the ones that we are seeing in the news. So it is getting around in terms of adjusting, in terms of the certificate of environmental clearance process that we do, that Department of Environmental Planning does. We partner with them through the forestry permit. So if you have protected trees, so mangroves are protected, for example. Yet our pine forests are protected. Our silver thatch palm, is also protected. So even that, so what does that mean? You need a permit to harvest. And the reason why is because we want to monitor the use of the resource, making sure that who are using it. So even if you're saying, I'm going to harvest it to do straw work, fine, but in terms of how you harvest to ensure that you maintain the life of the tree and that you don't kill the tree.
Yeah,
I got a clap for that one right there because
I was wondering what you were doing just now. We were
I was
worried.
like, no, it was like a little slow clap because I didn't want to bark up the audio, right? But on that particular note, because again, Long Island is known for our straw work,
It
right?
is, yes.
And listening to my mom and my grand aunts and whatnot that are still doing it, they are reporting that persons harvesting tops are doing it not in the old way, which is you cut what you need, but in a way that the plant can replenish itself.
Right.
They're cutting it to kill it.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Right, because they're using the heart of the palm. So that is like the and that goes with the cycles of the moon. So if you look so harvesters who've been doing this from time in Red Bays, in Eleuthera, in Long Island, they know, okay, when you go in, you're doing a cycle rotation. And they naturally are doing their own management.
Right.
And so, but if you have new persons who are coming in who weren't trained or who did not learn, because it's caught, not taught. So if they did not have an opportunity to catch that, the way they're harvesting now is actually killing the silotop palm. And those trees take time, their maturity take like 30, 40 years. And so when you're seeing a tree in the wild, in the bush, and that is like a 5-foot tree, that is almost like an 80-year-old tree. If you really look at the age of the palm.
Okay.
So, and that's something that we did an assessment, a rapid assessment on silvertop palm in central and northern Andros. And we found in central Andros, the stalks are low, but the stalks maintain in north, and then you have this the differences of communities of how they harvest.
Right.
And so that was a project that came up, and we partnered with BAIC to say have an educational and creative Nassau in terms of how to educate persons on how to harvest. Because yes, in the industry, they know, but the ones who are outside who want, oh, that look easy, let me just chop this and that'll be it. No. So they're actually causing more harm than good.
Yeah. So is it an ongoing education campaign? Has it spread to other islands?
It has not spread. It was a pilot, but the idea that it needs to continue because this just emphasizes that fact that we need to do it on other islands as well, because we only did it on Andros, but we need to have that as a national awareness, because if we want to maintain our culture, that's the orange economy, right? If we want to maintain that, then we need to maintain the resource for them to use.
Yeah. And the thing is if I could add to that, straw work is one of the backbones of our culture, but only a few islands are now doing it. So if you're removing or negatively impacting that resource, then you're not going to have your straw bags, you're not going to have your straw mats, you're not going to have your straw work in any form.
Right.
Because those things take years to grow.
Right. And talking about economies, that's our sustainable livelihoods. Communities, and especially you find in fishers. So when the season is closed, you find that they do straw work. Or if that is closed, then they'll go crabbing or hunting or whatever like that. So communities like in Andros, they have a whole cycle. They go white crown pigeon hunting, wild boar hunting, land crab hunting, fishing, and then straw work. And there's a rotation in life within that community. And so that is something that is lost in New Providence because we are disconnected from our environment in New Providence. And so the idea is bringing that awareness that, hey, our forests are valuable, our resources. We can't even count the amount of, we're still studying the level of amount of resources and impact that we have or the benefits that we have from our forests. Yeah. And so I think that's what we're trying to bring awareness to say, hey, our economies are reliant on our environment, and this is an example of that.
What do you need to help to get that education campaign to the other islands?
Yes, well, resources, resources, but also partnerships. So anyone who's willing to understand or wants to be a train the trainer in terms of promoting, but that just takes support and initiative in that way. So, but there is the need. There has been the request of, like, we recently were able to help train teachers, like 90 teachers doing their professional development in February. We did 90 science teachers and helped give them resources on mangroves. And their next request was like, this is great, but do you have stuff on the forest? And so we're working on that now, like how to help them with lesson plans, help them with guides, help them with doing like a virtual tour so they could then teach the importance of our forest, because not many persons are comfortable, like in terms of the scientific definitions and principles of what happens in a pine forest. We understand that in terms of for educational purposes, but they need the resources and they need the opportunity to go in and see what it looks like.
All right, so I want to go back to something you said about the water table in New Providence.
Yes.
Repeat those areas where you say most of the water is coming from.
Right. Well, our largest intact section of our water table is actually found in the area of Carmichael, the Bacardi Road area, the Carmichael Forest that we have, Coral Harbor, etc., Frank Watson Highway, like that contiguous section.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been broken up with just encroachment, and that's just natural development. I mean, New Providence is only so large. We're only 21 by 7, so you're looking at 80 square miles roughly. So based on that, and you're looking at this insurgent of population and demand for services, so it is a difficult call for the government to balance.
So there's still a little bit of pine forest out there.
Yeah, we still have around 4,000 acres or so left intact. There are pockets of that have been impacted in terms of deforested areas, and so, but again, you have other pressures for maintaining the quality of life here. So, for example, electricity security with having the solar farm that's going on there. You have housing. You have the need of persons need homes. So then, how do you balance that? So even when we're doing that, that's the whole point of having these various permits because, okay, yes, you have development, but then do it sustainably, and this is the minimum that's required. And purposes of that is to help with. So now you don't have this large network that we used to have. We used to have like 10 acres and acres, right? Now we just have less than around 4,000 continuous, and our goal is to try and conserve that. But the idea is that will help you have the other pockets. So you still have urban forestry, urban trees that line the streets, our roundabouts, our parks, your gardens, all of that help assist. So what is it when you say the little foxes spoil the vine? So it's these little actions that help also replenish, and that's what we will need to then develop and promote. So when you're keeping your fruit tree in your yard, you're not just ensuring that you have mangoes or avocado for that season, but you're also helping replenish the water table at the same time.
All right, so, but in some of those areas, I mean, there are lots of mechanic shops and all kinds of businesses.
Agreed, and this is
lots of pollution.
Right, so what you do on top of the surface actually impacts the quality of water below it as well. And so that's why you have zoning. That's why you have certain areas that are supposed to.
Right, supposed to.
Yes.
You said this word that people don't appreciate, zoning.
Zoning, because it tells us what to do, and we don't like to be told what to do, and that is human nature. We want structure, and we want the benefits of an operational society, but we don't want to do it, and we want to be able to call someone and be like, well, rule does not apply to me.
It doesn't appear that there are any zoning restrictions in these areas, but legally are there?
There. I mean, we have a Planning and Subdivision Act from 2010 that is enforced by the Department of Physical Planning. So this is underneath Ministry of Works, where you have building control, you have your permits for building, and your Department of Physical Planning with your town planning committee and everything. And that town planning committee actually operates on all of the family islands throughout Island Administrator's Office. So it does work. It's just the system. We just need more resources and more capacity and more compliance. To enforce, exactly. Yes. And all of it is connected because all of that is your integrated land management, because how we use our land impacts what happens with our water, what happens with our resources. So all of that comes back to our economies because we're known for our beautiful sun, sand, and sea. So, but we have to maintain the ecosystems that help maintain our sun, sand, and sea.
Do you know of any examples? You discover that I'm running a backyard mechanic shop in this area.
Oh, boy.
What happens when or if somebody comes to me? Do you find people cooperating? Like, oh, wow, I didn't know this. The water table. Let me move my shop.
But, I would say that there has been an initiative of the government to clean that up. If you have, it has... we could complain about the pace of it, but I would say based on how governments are moving and all the moving parts, it has been successful in terms of this administration trying to address this issue because they recognize it as a challenge. And then also it's threat to the community around it, because if that shop has a fire, then it impacts the homes directly around it in terms of quality of life and all of that. So that has been an effort of this administration to do that, so that you then are minimizing this conflict of use inside, especially if the area is supposed to be residential, single family, or multifamily. The idea is to maintain that quality of life. So it has been an effort. Is it perfect? No, nothing is. But I think they're working towards it.
Yeah. Callers will get to in a bit, but we're talking with Director Danielle Hannock with the Forestry Unit. It's Forestry Awareness Week.
Yes.
And the theme is forests and economies.
Yes.
Want to get back to deforestation. Every
tough topic.
Yeah. Every year you've been here, we were talking about this office
Every
4
year,
years now.
Yes, we have. Yes.
And we've had lots of very interesting conversations on it. Are we seeing any improvements here in New Providence? We know we've had big challenges off
in the Coral Harbor
area.
Yeah.
What are we seeing now?
So I would say I am happy to report that it's almost abated in terms of, because we had like 2 years where it was like strong pressure of consistent, like everyday clearing of at least 4 or 5 acres a day. Like that's when it was like at its peak. But I would say now that has abated in terms of we don't have that immediate pressure and we have more regulation, persons coming to get their regular permits. Thanks to the enforcement, our partners, Bahamas Wildlife Enforcement Network, that's the section of the RBDF and the Ministry of National Security that helps with active monitoring and management of our areas to look. So they also stop people. Do you have the requisite permits? If you don't, they connect with the relevant agencies to verify or validate. And then if they don't, they've been issuing spot fines, and that has been effective. And they have been issuing that. So enforcement has been occurring. And that has been a contribution to seeing this reduction and this brazen deforestation efforts. So that has abated it a bit. Do we still have challenges? Yes. There still are illegal charcoal kilns that are using protected wood or using everything. That still exists, but they have been. It's in terms of numbers and volume and pressure, we have seen a reduction in those instances. And so with that helps us show that it is working. Do we need to continue? Yes. Do we need more support and supplies? Of course. But it is making an effort. And so and I believe the public has become way more aware and concerned and vocal on the fact that, hey, we need our forests. We need our resources. We want a better quality of life. And so that is helping the cause because we cannot be everywhere, but the community is. If they see something, say something, and that has been working.
So you're saying regular permits, you can get a permit to do this? What do you get a permit for?
Okay.
How does that work?
So currently there are no permits for charcoal or no. So there's no legal framework that immediately addresses charcoal. There are implied underneath the Environmental Health Services Act, Department of DHS, also underneath DEPP. We do not have any legal framework for it to be legally done because we're not trying to promote charcoal. Now in the agricultural sector, Ministry of Agriculture, we've been having discussions with farmers when they have excess debris, how they want to burn it and then use that, and then that is termed biochar because then they would then use it back on their crops to help with soil enrichment. That is something that is valuable, but not to say have it on an industrial scale for sale, no, but to subsistence using because we do burn. We're just trying to do it effectively and not that we're then have like a wildfire outbreak because someone did it improperly and then impacts the community. So that is what we're trying to do in terms of promoting best use of that. We know it is a form of technology that is needed. But on the scale it's done now, like where it is being manufactured and it being exported, and we're not seeing, and there are no consequences of that. That is something that we're addressing. But that has reduced even in terms of, and you just notice the amount, or you see less amount on the streets. And so we do recognize that this sector is being impacted, the illegal use of it. And so that is because of our partners, because of initiatives, because of everyone trying to find a solution to it.
Is it possible they've just moved to a different area that you're not aware of? Or?
I mean, well, there are reports that it has happened in terms of some of the family islands that activity has increased. So, but again, we can't do everything. The community would have to be a part of that solution. Yeah.
So when you say regular permits, this is to remove a tree. Why would you be able to have a permit for that?
Right. So for your development, let's say you have some mahoganies on there or gamellimes, or you have some sea grapes or silvertop thatch palm, and your design or what you're developing needs to remove those trees. So what we advocate is that, okay, if you need to remove them, then at least have a mitigation where you could replant up to 3 trees. So that way you replace, and so it's not a net loss in the sense where you then lose these services. Now, of course, a 20-foot mahogany tree is not the same services. It's not going to be the same as like a seedling, for example. However, but the fact is that 3 to 1, that ratio, we assume that out of those 3 trees that we plant, at least one of them will definitely survive. And then you have that continuity of services. And so that's that idea, so that we help promote that. And it's just a form of regulation to understand where the pressure points are too. So we could then look at our permits and then say, okay, we notice that there's like a uptick in development in Eleuthera, let's say, or there's an uptick in development in the Coral Harbor, and then you're able to stop it. And so if we get those applications, especially for in the forest area, because we have seen some of those, we're then able to say, no, we're not going to approve this because it's not supposed to be development here. So that does happen as well.
Yeah. So we know this is the fire season, the dry season, despite a few cold fronts that are coming in.
Right.
But the forest here because of this. What impacts do you see?
So far so good. We've been blessed in terms of this is our dry season. So people are like, oh, we still get rain, but no, in comparison to our rainy season, it's low. But also you have other factors that we're being impacted. Overall, globally, there's been an increase in temperatures. There's been an increase in the duration of our dry season. Typically, we would have received rains by the end of April or April. Now it's May. Now it's almost June.
Last year was June, almost July.
It was almost exactly.
Yeah.
And so this means that, what does this mean? That your amount of water available in the atmosphere is less. And so if you have a spark of fire, let's say, under the previous conditions, it would not have carried that far because, okay, you would have rain that would either come or it would not be so dry. But now it is. And so what does that mean? That we just have to be more aware. So clearing shrubs, having like a fire break around our homes, around our infrastructure, maintaining those. Actually, we would love to do a prescribed burn where we could reduce the fuel load, reduce the shrubs levels in the forest. So if it were to catch fire, it would not be so like intense and actually be like on the level of a national disaster. Because remember, I think it was last year when the smoke here impacted the airports in Florida in terms of visibility. And so who would have thought that what happens
I heard that already this year,
Right.
where they were saying in Florida there were issues because of fire in Andros, a forest fire in Andros.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have these examples of that, and so and also too, even in Abaco, there were instances, but it did not threaten any homes or settlements. So that was the benefit because you're always trying to maintain human life and reduce the impacts or loss of commercial value, like in terms of homes and such like that. Wow. So the idea is, I know that this year between the agencies, there's been an effort to say have a better handle on it and have a larger response time or a better response time. And so what that means is in terms of getting equipment to actually fight those instances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking with Director Danielle Hannock with the Forestry Unit. In Abaco, is there still logging going on? Has that happened at all? Or in some of the other northern islands?
Actually, so we have a company called Bahama Pine Works. This would be their second year that they're going into in operations. So they are going into the areas impacted by Dorian, extracting the logs that are, so even though it's a salvageable wood, meaning it's not top tier in terms of being freshly, it was damaged, they're still able to use it and create high-end products.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So they're not taking down trees. They're just using trees that were impacted.
Right. So
or are they?
They're taking down. So in if anyone is like from Abaco or Grand Bahama, and like they're passing the areas impacted by Dorian, and it just looks like all these dead trees stands. Right. So the idea is that they'll be taking those out. And then using them and then help develop products. And so they are actually in the process of doing that. So far so good. They have experienced like 1 or 2 delays in terms of trying to getting their product to market. So that kind of thing. But I know that they have found distributors, so it is available here in New Providence and in Abaco as well to purchase. So that Abaco pine that we know, the building traditional homes, that you can purchase it. It is a higher price point. And I think that is a difficulty because, like I could just buy pine from Home Depot. Yeah, but it's not Abaco pine. So, I mean, so you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And anyone who knows the value. Homes that were built with that 70, 80 years ago are still standing with no issues in termites. So, because of the high level of resin in our pine.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So, I mean, we're talking forest and economies. Can you say how
Yeah.
much value this is? What monetarily what we're looking at here?
Oh wow! In terms of importance, like so that project, the Bahama Pine Works project, that initiative, over the 3-year process, assuming the amount of their employment opportunities, export opportunities, etc., you're looking at and the royalties that the government would then able to generate from the resource. You are looking at something that we between the $200,000 and $300,000 range that we would be able to receive, and so that you could see the importance in the economies.
Wow. Wow. What about Grand Bahama? They had a lot of pine damage there as
Yes.
well.
So the issue is with Grand Bahama, we actually had that out to bid, but we did not get in much traction in terms of advancing as we did with Abaco. So we've had a few groups since who expressed interest, and so we're working with them to see if we could get something going for Grand Bahama. And so in the port as well is also interested in doing a pilot. So we've starting negotiations with them to see what that would look like in terms of what they want to do and how they would want to do it in terms of harvesting the salvageable wood, and then what kind of products can be developed from it.
And any update on the land and the future of these trees as a result of Dorian and the saltwater damage and all of that? How are we looking?
Right. So our ecosystems are rather resilient. So Dorian now, that's been 7 years essentially since the storm, I would think, if my math is mathing. And so with that means that we're looking at regeneration and regrowth, and Abaco is stronger. So you have trees that are now up to, so when I'm saying trees, like the regrowth, the saplings, they're like almost 5 feet, 6 feet tall in some sections, which is great.
That's excellent.
Because that is the natural course of its life cycle for pine forest. Now in Grand Bahama, it is not as strong or robust. There are pockets that we do not see any regeneration for pine forest, so that's our gauge. But we do see some, but the ones that we do see, they're only like 1 or 2 feet tall. But we have to keep in mind, Grand Bahama had a series of being just inundated with water, and then so even their water table is still recovering from the salt inundation from the storm. And so with that means that they just had a bit longer to navigate. So remember, elevation in Abaco is taller on average or higher than in Grand Bahama. Right. So your average elevation in Abaco is looking at like 30 feet level, but in Grand Bahama, certain areas are actually at sea level or like within that 10 feet. So because of that, we help with that filtration, etc. We're thinking that has an impact. So the idea is that we'll be able to do a research to see where we are and to determine the levels of how our forests are recovering. And so we're working with UB on how we could do that study so that we could compare and come back to you. But that's generally what we've been observing thus far, like when we're doing our site visits in Abaco and Grand Bahama. So it is regenerating, it is coming back. It's just in different ways. But the take-home message is the resiliency of our ecosystems. It is improving.
That is excellent. That is good to hear. Again, we're talking with Danielle Hanek with the forestry unit. Let's take some calls. I see the phone lines have been lit up. We've been trying to get in. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can call us toll free as well. 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. You're live.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Strachan. I was holding on for quite a while. Good morning to your wonderful guest.
Hi.
Good morning.
So, conversations like these as much in, but she said the public, as relates to this dilemma about the coal kills, etc. I just wanted to, I appreciate this conversation so much and this lady, right? Because, you have heard me. I don't know if I was a lone wolf about, she talked about the deforestation. I talked about the degradation of the land. And I thought I heard him mention, I walked out of the shop for a while. I thought I mentioned some initiatives to reforestate, right? For reforestation. I think she heard something, I heard something along those lines. I don't know if that was a lady, but the thing is, it's much needed. And so she said there was basically about 4,000 acres of pine forest left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about the mechanics shops in these areas and the water table areas, the aquifers, et cetera. But what I wanted to share is that there's an innovation that should be implemented from mechanics in that like when you change the oil of the car, they should, in the States, they have a tank that you put to the bottom of it that collects the oil, so you don't have to be putting it in the bottles and putting it in the ground, et cetera. And that would help, that should be mandated. But as it relates to, is there any study with our pine forest? I'd say, well, you guys did a study, say, well, an acre of forest offsets this amount of carbon, given the fact that we're still experiencing coal kill, which is anthropogenic activity. And so basically, I'm trying to show the imbecility in the carbon credit accounting model. You just mentioned some trees are small, different sizes, different biomass. How difficult is this? And then with your conversation, it really draws to the attention that the lack of consciousness is what really is the problem. We need to do these things. This information needs to be readily available. Toxicity of certain chemicals in the water, lead, cadmium, mercury, all these different things. These are the things that the citizens are concerned about. You have to consume it, whether some people drink it or they do use it topically to bathe with, whatever. But it is a problem. It is a problem in the country, and I feel as if the government has for decades neglected this. And for me, I'm frightened because I used to be a pine yard fanatic because I had a friend who partly worked in New Providence Development Company, and he used to be in the bog there for decades. And I've seen the decrease in the land, the forest, and nobody seems to be paying attention to it. Development here, development there, development everywhere. But we are running around the world talking about carbon credits and sustainable development, which is really, it's ridiculous to me, and it's really insulting. And give thanks, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Right. So in terms of doing the economic evaluation of our forests, so a part of a way to do that is our national forest inventory. And so we've done samples or parts of our inventory on Andros and Abaco and Grand Bahama. We're in the next phase where we want to do it for central and southern islands. And so the idea, what does that mean? So you have to measure the trees, the above ground carbon mass, below ground carbon mass in terms of your terrestrial ecosystems. Currently, there are studies going on in terms of evaluation for our seagrasses and mangroves. So that is a part of our carbon credits and the concept, because the idea is how do we value what is the carbon sequestration rates of our various ecosystems, and where is it higher versus lower, how the function of the ecosystem. So all of those are variables that we're taking in. So we are in the process of doing it. It does take time. So that is the difficult thing, doing an inventory, especially in our unique archipelago. You have 20 major islands that you need to enforce this inventory, and some of our islands are very difficult to get to, or areas that you have to walk to. So it's been interesting, but it is something that we are continuing to do. We're waiting to start our next phase, hopefully within the next 2 months. And so with that means that we'll be able to collect field data. So yes, you could use remote sensing and orthoimagery and various satellite imagery, but that is only one part of the story. The other part is you have to touch and feel and measure. And so that would help with us in determining what our economic value is. We typically in the Bahamas have resorted or relied on natural regeneration, even with our mangrove systems. We've seen research that has been led by NGOs and that we are then partnering with in terms of doing restoration efforts in our mangroves. And we've seen that has been successful. And so the idea is to replicate that in other islands. Yeah. So let's say, give the example in Long Island. Hurricane Joaquin came through. Even in Acklands and Crooked Island, you have major sections of mangroves that never regenerated. Oh my goodness. And so, but it wasn't mainstream, right? Because it wasn't a Dorian. So the idea is we still have areas in the country that still need to have restoration efforts and works. And then if you talk to local fishermen, they will tell you, yeah, we used to be able to go over here and get our lobster and get our grouper and get our snappers and everything, and the bonefish was plentiful. Mm-hmm. Now it's not as much. They still have some, but not as much. Yeah. And so the idea is we always want more, and we always want to maintain more, not just for the current day, but for future. For us to do that, we need to restore these areas and protect them. So thank you, caller, for bringing that to the attention attention. And the idea is that we are doing our best. But, we want to improve or promote citizen science, and that's the whole point of Forestry Awareness Week, the whole point of highlighting this connectivity. So when you're thinking of careers or opportunities or what you can do or the fact that this is valuable, it is just reinforcing that, yes, and improving that awareness.
Yeah, wow. We got a call last week. We were talking about SpaceX and the Falcon 9 booster landings. And we know a lot of testing's been done with the water, under the water.
Right.
But the caller was saying he had concerns about land and what's happening with the forests and the sonic boom impacting what's happening above the surface.
Right.
Is that a concern? Is that something we should be concerned about? Or what does the forestry unit say about this?
So I would say that this is the whole point of doing those, doing the validations that are occurring, doing the post and the pre and post field validations from those episodes to see. I think in terms of outright, there is not a main concern, but however, we should always monitor and to see how the progress goes. And so I think that is us as a with our various agencies being cautious in terms of what we're doing with our environment and trying to monitor it. So I would say it's great to bring awareness because we should always be mindful. Everything is connected. What happens above the sea impacts what happens below the sea. So with all of that in mind, there is probably some connectivity. We just don't know what it is yet, but we're doing our best to monitor those. Yes.
All right. You mentioned it a few minutes ago. The royalties from what's happening with the pine in Abaco,
Yes.
200 to 300 million.
Thousand.
What is it? 1,000?
Yeah, because we just have a small area, but ultimately it would be, yes.
It could get to million. But right now, 200 to 300,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But let's aim high.
Speak it into existence.
Let's speak
right.
into existence, yeah.
All right. So, but this tester's asking, well, is exporting pine sustainable? We don't do that much of it, right?
No, we don't. And then the challenge of where we're exporting it to. So for it to be exported to the U.S. market, there have been discussions that we had in the past in terms of how we could do that, and we need to improve our lab and sample testing because they are concerned, especially about the red mite that on products that come from, especially the straw products that would come from other jurisdictions that we sell in the Bahamas. And so even though it's not Bahamian, because we can't validate the chain of command or the source of where it came from or validate that was sustainably harvested. So there are a few more loopholes that we have to go through for it to be exported into the U.S. market. Yeah. And that is a challenge because for that to happen, there's a whole other like 4 or 5 key events that have to occur with other agencies and improving that infrastructure. So like improving our testing and sampling over time, like we'd have to show consistency over a 5 to 10 year period about the fact that there are no pests or no threats to the U.S. market. And that is something that is on the table on how we could do that. How do we develop our standards in reference to that? And so as you see, like with the advancement of the, so dealing with plant and health and safety, the fact that lab is now set up, that gives us the support and infrastructure to start that process of allowing us to develop the data sets and prove the fact that we don't have any threats or pests that would impact the U.S. market.
Okay. So we're running out of time. It's the whole week. What are some of the things we can expect during this week? Forestry Awareness
Right,
Week?
thank you. Yeah, so we have a whole week of events, and so the International Day of Forest is the 21st of March. There are a few other events happening, and so that is on Saturday. But before we get there, we have our PR events like today, as well as we have school visits, we have tree plantings that we typically do. But this year, our highlight is doing a conference. So we're having a conference at Breezes, and it's highlighting the forest and economy. So we have the majority are Bahamian researchers who will be giving papers or presentations in terms of the connectivity with our bonefish and our fly fishing industry. Also the importance of in terms of our wild birds. So for example, our white-crowned pigeons and even our Bahama parrots, how they connect and help with the ecosystems and then their importance to our economies. And so we'll be having talks about that. We have about 8 who will be giving talks throughout the day. And so if persons are interested, they could connect with us at Bahamas Forestry. And then if we also have a virtual link where they could attend, the conference is free.
Oh, wow.
And so we've invited 4 schools to attend as well as UB students, University of Bahamas students, and then also just our stakeholders and those interested. So we have hopefully if everyone shows up, we'll have a good number, around almost 80 participants.
What are the dates again?
It's a 1-day conference, and it's happening on Thursday, so that's the 19th of March. And so we'll be having a great time there at Breezes, just promoting this connectivity with forests and economies.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful stuff. Getting some text messages, people talking about businesses near their homes that have turned into backyard mechanic shops and Airbnbs. This is not what the forestry unit does directly.
No.
Who do you recommend they talk to if they have concerns about people in their neighborhood who might be causing problems?
Sure. Definitely encourage them to connect with the Department of Environmental Health Services and Ministry of Works. Those are the 2 areas, two departments and ministries that would help with that. So if they have a concern, reporting where it's located. And so in terms of Department of Physical Planning, because they deal with businesses in terms of location, and the Department of Health, Environmental Health Services, DHS, they're located on Farrington Road, in terms of having the reports of these activities. Right. And so between those agencies, I would say document, and then also I'd encourage you, your MP, send an email, or just to document. And so as persons are becoming more fluent, like with WhatsApp, and that is a form of communication in a paper trail to say that you've made your voice heard. So I would say making the authorities aware of it, or even making a police report. Why? Because the enforcement networks are able to then say monitor and then do patrols and then see is that the case, is that regulated or not, and then start the process on those.
And if you see somebody making charcoal, burning wood, what do you do?
Definitely give Bowen a call, or the police a call to report it. And so our colleagues there at Bowen, I should have thought of that, in terms of giving a number, but you can...
and remind folks what Bowen stands for.
Bahamas Wildlife Enforcement Network is, and they actually have an app called Bah Wild Tip, so BAH, Wild Tip. That's an app where they can actually make the report themselves.
Okay. Excellent stuff.
Yes.
Danielle Hannock, always a pleasure. We keep saying it every time, not only once a year, but the year goes by very quickly.
It does. And the time always goes by so quickly.
Yes.
We always, I try my best to always stay on topic, but it always branches off. And that just shows the connectivity.
Absolutely. Happy Forestry Awareness Week to you.
Thank you.
And your colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Bahamas.
All right, we're going to be back after this quick break. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
On Angie, how does it feel to have broken the bull riding world record?
Sore, Sean. That bull was angry.
Angie, I think that bull is headed towards your red convertible.
I broke the world record and he broke my car. Oh well, at least I've got CG Comprehensive Motor to cover them.
Get covered for collision, damage, and more. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. The BNSI, the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, says total exports from the country decreased by $186 million in the fourth quarter last year compared to the same period in 2024. Total exports, domestic exports, and re-exports for the fourth quarter totaled $186 million, representing a 5% decrease compared to the same period in 24. The major categories of exports consisted primarily of food and live animals, which totaled $49 million, or 26% of total exports, and manufactured goods classified chiefly by materials totaled $46 million, or 24% of total exports, and machinery and transport equipment, which totaled $41 million. The BNSI said imports into the Bahamas increased by 13% in the fourth quarter of 2025. The Office of the Attorney General has doubled its size of its compliance team as it prepares for the fifth round of mutual evaluations by the CFATF, that's the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. Attorney General Ryan Pinder said Friday that a team of 6 at the Office of the Attorney General has grown to about 12 as law firms, financial institutions, and regulators prepare to defend the country's compliance within the Financial Action Task Force. 40 recommendations for combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing, better known as AML-CFT. And the National Health Insurance Authority says that doctors organizing to become a recognized bargaining body for doctors enrolled in the NHI program cannot unionize against the authority because they are not employees of NHIA. NHIA Managing Director and CEO Christy Butler responding to claims made by doctors on Morning Blend recently of the association seems to be challenged by the Department of Labor regarding the development of the representative body for NHI. Butler says the authority is aware of the small group of physicians seeking recognition, explained that to the proposal to create a union outside the employee-employer relationship contemplated under the Industrial Relations Act, which is designed for the representation of employees. You can read more on that statement based on what you heard in that interview on Morning Blend Business and respond in today's Guardian Business section. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, market movers, Commonwealth Bank moving 1,000 shares, closing at $4.50 unchanged. Doctors Hospital moving 400, unchanged at $5. Finco moving 750, unchanged at $16.20. JS Johnson moving 100, unchanged at $17. Consolidated Water up 5 cents, closing at $6.85. Emira Incorporated up 4 cents, closing at $13.03. The BISX All Share Index closing at 3,172.61, up 0.09. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight to CFAL Talks right here on Guardian Radio at 6:30 p.m. And that's going to do it for us today. I did promise we were going to go through the NHIA statement in response to our interview with the doctors who are seeking to form an association, the physicians partners, the physician providers for NHI, but we will get to that tomorrow. DeAndrew Cartwright, thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you so much, Dwight, Strachan, for having me.
I'll see you again next week.
Yes.
And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight's trying to have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Luck, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on Guardian Talk Radio.